Ange Postecoglou is back in management and he is managing Cristiano Ronaldo. The former Celtic boss has been confirmed as the new head coach of Al-Nassr, and the Celtic connections in Saudi Arabia do not stop there. We have also got Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain set to sign a new deal at Parkhead, the Hearts boss already firing shots in Celtic's direction, fresh faces and fresh ideas landing at Lennoxtown, and the most important news of all for every Celtic fan heading into the new season. Let's get into it, but first make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Ange Postecoglou is back in management and the job he has taken will get every Celtic supporter talking. The former Parkhead boss has been confirmed as the new head coach of Al-Nassr in Saudi Arabia, signing a 2-year contract with the club. Al-Nassr announced the appointment on social media, posting, "It's official. Mr. Ange Postecoglou is the new head coach of Al-Nassr. He signed a contract for 2 seasons. Welcome, Gaffer." Postecoglou arrives at one of the most high-profile clubs in world football right now, and the headline reason for that is obvious. He will be managing Cristiano Ronaldo. The 41-year-old remains the star name at Al-Nassr after signing a contract extension last summer that keeps him at the club until 2027. Postecoglou is now the man responsible for getting the best out of him. The Celtic connection does not stop there. Postecoglou is now set to go head-to-head in the Saudi Pro League with former Celtic manager Brendan Rodgers, who is in charge of Al-Qadsiya. Alongside Rodgers at that club is John Kennedy, the former Celtic assistant who worked closely with him during his time at Parkhead. 2 former Celtic managers competing in the same league, with Kennedy also involved on the touchline. It is quite a subplot for the Celtic support to follow. Postecoglou spent 2 years in Glasgow and left a huge impression. He arrived when the club needed a complete rebuild, reshaped the squad with speed, and brought an attacking identity that quickly won the support over. 5 trophies, including a domestic treble, before he moved to Tottenham in 2023. He then won the Europa League with Spurs before a disastrous stint at Nottingham Forest lasted just 8 games. Now he gets a fresh start with one of the biggest names in the game alongside him. Celtic fans will be watching every single result. Now for the main story, as Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain looks set to commit his future to Celtic, with Team Talk journalist Graham Bailey reporting that the midfielder has agreed a new deal at Parkhead after being persuaded to stay by Martin O'Neill. Bailey broke the story on social media, posting, "Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain has agreed a new deal with Scottish champion Celtic. Team Talk understands." The 32-year-old had interest back in the Premier League, as well as in Europe and MLS, but he has been persuaded to stay in Glasgow by Martin O'Neill. This is significant. Oxlade-Chamberlain's short-term deal expired at the end of last season, and there had been no official confirmation from the club over whether he would remain. Now, if Bailey's information is correct, O'Neill has made his feelings clear and backed his man to stay. Oxlade-Chamberlain's time at Celtic last season was not straightforward. He arrived mid-season, which meant he was always building rhythm while the title race was at its most intense. But the moments he delivered mattered. A stoppage time winner on debut against Livingston, a goal against St Mirren, a penalty in the Scottish Cup shootout at Ibrox. He contributed when it counted. The key question heading into next season is fitness. When Oxlade-Chamberlain is moving well, he offers something different in midfield, the ability to drive forward, carry the ball into space, and bring a level of experience that few players in Scottish football can match. A full pre-season under O'Neill gives him the best possible chance to arrive at the start line properly conditioned rather than playing catch-up. This cannot be seen as the whole midfield solution. Celtic still have major decisions ahead on Arne Engels and other players, but Oxlade-Chamberlain staying is a piece of the puzzle that tells you something about how O'Neill views the group he wants to build around. In other news, new Hearts manager Wouter Vranken has been talking ahead of the new season and has made his intentions towards Celtic very clear indeed. The Belgian, who was appointed at Tynecastle this summer, has already made a habit of sending messages in Celtic's direction before a ball has been kicked in anger. This time, he went further than before, saying Hearts want to make life difficult for both Glasgow clubs when the season begins. Speaking to the Herald, Vranken said, "I hope to put in the football we want to see as quickly as possible. We want to be annoying the Glasgow teams and trying to hurt them. We're trying to overachieve ourselves in how we do things and how we play football, and it's all totally new. I'm really curious and excited to go further. Hopefully, we can do it. There is nothing wrong with ambition. Every manager outside Glasgow should want to test Celtic and push higher up the table. That is what makes the Premiership competitive. And Hearts, when they are at their best, are capable of making Tynecastle a difficult place to go. But Celtic have heard this kind of talk before. Managers arrive, set the tone, talk about closing gaps and hurting the champions. The real test always comes when the matches actually start. Martin O'Neill will not need any extra motivation, and the squad will know that bold words from opposition managers mean nothing until they are backed up on a match day. Franken is building something at Hearts. Whether he can turn the noise into results is what will define him. In other news, pre-season is underway at Lennoxtown, and Stephen McManus has delivered an encouraging early update, singling out new addition Ross Grant for particular praise as the coaching staff beds in ahead of the new campaign. McManus, now part of the Celtic coaching setup after a distinguished playing career at the club, spoke about how the squad has returned. He said, "Yeah, really good. The boys have come in and worked really well. It's been a tough week. It's always the first week of pre-season, so there's a lot of testing in the first day, but the boys have come in, as always our lads have come in really good shape. They've enjoyed the break, and now they're looking forward to the games coming back fast in pre-season." That is exactly what Celtic need to hear. With Champions League qualifiers sitting in August, the window to build sharpness and match fitness is tight. Every day of good work in pre-season matters. McManus was especially positive about the contribution of Ross Grant, who has joined the coaching staff to replace Gavin Strachan following his departure for West Brom. Set pieces are an increasingly important part of the modern game, and Strachan was widely credited for the quality of Celtic's work in that area last season. The bar is high. McManus said, "Gavin's going to be a big miss. Ross has come in again with new ideas, fresh ideas, and he focused a lot on the set pieces. We welcome him into the coaching staff, and you can see that the qualities as a person, as a coach, that he's going to bring. We're excited to see how it goes." Lastly, Alistair Johnston has been speaking ahead of Canada's World Cup campaign, and the Celtic defender made it clear he is approaching the tournament with real belief, despite the size of the task ahead. Canada are one of the co-host nations for this summer's competition, and Johnston has been one of the cornerstones of their squad for several years now. After a difficult personal season that saw him spend months on the sidelines with a hamstring injury, he came back strongly during Celtic's title run-in and showed exactly the kind of quality that makes him one of the most important players in this Celtic side. Johnston spoke about the scale of the challenge facing Canada at the World Cup, describing their opponents as a Goliath they intend to face head-on. He made clear that the Canadian squad believe they can compete, that they are not simply making up the numbers at a tournament played on home soil. For Celtic supporters, Johnston's World Cup involvement adds another layer of interest to the summer. He is contracted at Parkhead until 2029, is exactly the kind of player the club needs to build around, and heading into a new season off the back of a successful return to fitness, the signs are genuinely positive for what he can offer O'Neill next year. Canada's campaign will be followed closely by those at Lennoxtown. A player going deep into a World Cup is not ideal from a club management point of view, but for Johnston personally, it would represent a huge achievement after everything the last 12 months have put him through. Celtic will be watching, and quietly so will everyone inside Lennoxtown. That's all the latest Celtic news for today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one. Hail, hail.